Well, we've got a very special treat for you this morning as we introduce you to the Andrew Grose pre-show routine.
Yes.
Now, we're doing this today because you're leaving.
Permanently.
Not
People think I'm going on vacation, but...
Why do you have to say that?
Well, does it worry you?
Well, it does.
There's no reason to be worried, Dan.
The light at the end of my tunnel is that in 2 weeks you'll be back, just like the light at your end of the tunnel.
Well, you know what? Why don't you live with that? I mean, I don't mean why don't you live with that. Why don't you work towards that and just say, you know what, I have 2 weeks, and then my partner will be back, and everything will be good again, and then we'll deal with it in 2 weeks. Why stress now? I'm not going to. I'm going to be lying on the deck of a ship.
What is your pre-show routine? What are we looking at here?
Well, I like to get online, which is not always a certainty, and I open up several sites, one of which is our texting page.
Oh, we can't show that too close, because that's a bunch of phone numbers.
Yeah, and I like to see what's been texted to Bruce, and if there's any information or news that's been coming up. Then I check on my Twitter, I check on my Facebook, and of course our Twitter and Facebook to see what's going on with that. I check my email. Then I start reading what I've printed. I'm not an electronic guy per se when it comes to reading things, so every guest I've got the background information, and on white means I'm just going to read it, and from there I will derive the questions for the guest. I don't predetermine the questions. I like to listen to the guest. If it's on yellow paper, that's the actual tease that I typically brutalize for the first hour and a half to 2 hours of the show. Oftentimes, although I wrote it, I just don't read it properly. I'm not sure why. It could be my eyesight. I'm just tired, or I'm just not a very good cut and paster. I also get my own headset, not a Ched headset, and I make sure it's working properly.
Well, Kelsey's here.
And there's our producer.
Morning.
Good morning.
We've seen her already, so that's not exciting.
So, and I make sure, with Dan's help, that my mic is working correctly. I pour my
here, can we see the thermos that we hear on the air five times a day?
I do two things that I shouldn't while doing this show. One is I tend to, because I forget that I'm on radio from time to time, and I will literally sit here like this, unscrewing my thermos into the microphone.
And then you'll pour it.
And then I'll pour it right here, too.
Yesterday, you took it one step further.
Yes, I did. I rolled up my rim.
And then you ripped it off into the microphone
yes, I did.
In the middle of an interview.
That's absolutely
What's that sound? Well, Andrew's won a donut, and he's too excited to wait.
And here's the funny part is I couldn't have waited until we were actually talking to the Tim Hortons guy to do it, which
that's
would have
right.
been so appropriate.
Yeah.
They'd have been like, why do they have sound effects if a roll up the rim win? But I did it instead while somebody was talking, and I was listening. Don't get me wrong, I was focused. But I rolled it up and saw that I'd want a donut. I'm like, oh my God, a donut. And of course, I ripped the rim, right?
I have to flip this over so we don't show our phone numbers, but just to demonstrate. So that's Andrew's thing. Like he's lots of setup, and then that's me. So it's not nearly as impressive. I'm electronic, so I get these things over there.
You know what, Dan? You're being too kind to me.
You'd stop talking. It's not the camera's not pointed at you right now. Why are you here? Do you have news?
No.
Do we know what's coming up at 11:30 yet?
No, I just came to hang out.
Oh.
I thought we were going to talk about Ukraine at 11:30.
Well, we're trying.
Okay.
That's totally... Are we going to talk about Ukraine at 11:30?
Absolutely we are. With or without a guest.
Probably not without a guest.
Wait a second.
I'm Ukrainian,
no,
you know.
not without a guest.